Hi everyone, welcome to the CAHSEE coordinator training for 2012. I apologize if there's any random sounds in the background as we're going along here, but we'll try to keep it to a minimum. So here's our agenda for today. We'll go through some administration requirements, some responsibilities, talking about before testing, during, and after as well. As we know very well, all students need to satisfy the CAHSEE requirement at this point. That does not apply at this moment to special education students because they do have a waiver, but we do need to offer that to them at least at the 10th grade level. Here are the dates for our administrations for the 2012-13 school year. You can see when we'll be doing that. July and November is the one's coming up soon, next week, and we can go on from there. Those are also available on the CDE website, as you can see at the bottom. Here's a couple things. We need to make sure that we test all of our 10th graders in that March census administration. That's when we'll be doing it. And it does count toward the AYP, which is important for us. November and February administration will specifically be for our grade 11 and 12 non-passers. And then May is going to be a makeup. So test site coordinator responsibilities. So these are some of your responsibilities. We're going to look before, during, and after. Let's start with before. You can see that you're going to be responsible for the administration of the CAHSEE within your entire school or test site. The coordinator is also directly responsible for coordinating all the activities pertaining to the security, distribution, and return of materials, as well as training all test examiners, test proctors, and scribes. We have to ensure that this test security, we have to really make sure that we read, agree, sign, and return the test security agreement to ETS, which you all have seen, and ensure all test site coordinators read and sign the test security agreement, and all who have access to secure test materials. They need to sign that as well. So here is that actual document, the test security agreement. Make sure you sign that and get that collected. There's the actual security affidavit. Just a couple of points very quickly, as we know since we've been doing this for a while, we want to make sure we keep the material locked in a stored place, very nice, safe place. We want to make sure that we have procedures that will prevent cheating as well. Make sure that our cell phones are monitored and we're watched to make sure that kids are not taking pictures or any other way of actually copying the test. So we make sure that we've trained all of our examiners, make sure that we have all of our test booklets and materials monitored closely. If you have any irregularities, please call me first, and then I will take care of contacting CDE or ETS as well to make sure that those things are taken care of. I don't believe we have any audits this year, but if we do, I'll let you know. So, test site coordinator. Before testing, make sure you're attending training, which you're doing right now. Sign the test security agreement and affidavit. Make sure that I get those. Read the responsibilities in the test site manual. Inform parents and students about the testing schedule. Make sure that the teachers are very aware of their students, and work with me to make sure that you resolve any problems that you may have, which we haven't had as of yet. Make sure you organize and supervise all the activities that have to do with testing as well. And get all those affidavits from all who have access to test materials. Make sure you're very in control of your inventory and you're aware of what you have and where it's stored at all times. Here's our site packing list. They may be coming into you as you get the materials. You probably have seen these already. Make sure you receive those test materials, and make sure you go through and do an inventory to make sure everything's in there that has stated to be sent, and if you need more, let me know. You can look at, there's a sequence of numbers on all of the boxes to be able to see what's where. There's the checklist for inventorying test materials at the test site. That can be helpful for you as well. Save your original boxes for the return shipment, and I'll take those back. And let me know if you need anything else. Keep everything secure in sealed boxes and locked storage space at all times when not in use for test. Administration. Don't remove the shrink wrap unless you need to, just before the testing. Make sure that you have done your training. The training needs to include the following responsibilities of the test examiners and the proctors. Make sure you're very clear with that on the proctors. Security of all of your test materials. Make sure that they know what they need to do and how they need to keep it secure as well. Give them the testing schedules and the location, preparation for the test locations for all of the administrations. Make sure they're aware of how to set them up, what needs to go where. And then arrangement for any types of proctors. You need to make sure that you coordinate that as well. We need to make sure that we have all of the information about IEPs and 504s so that way they're aware and what they need to be able to do with those. Make sure they verify the student's identity, how to distribute the test materials, make sure they know how to give all the directions that need to be provided, and the whole process of administering the test. Make sure everyone's clear on that. They should know how to complete the demographic information in the manner in which you guys do it, and also those score codes that need to happen, because those are very important. Any of the collection and accounting of the test materials, make sure they count everything back and can return everything so we don't have any lost materials. And they follow the actual scheduling for when we're going to return the materials. So when we're going through, make sure we're aware of preparing answer documents. Only one answer document can be submitted for each student. We do the pre-ID, but sometimes we do not. Make sure that we prepare any of those who have not passed one or both sections of the test if you need them. If you don't need them, you don't need to do that. You need to use those. Void any of the documents for students who are no longer enrolled if you're using pre-ID. Prepare and distribute test materials using the inventory forms. Okay, so directions for tests, one per examiner, test booklets, one per student, and you can follow that along there. During the testing, so now we've got everything out to everybody, now we're going through the testing process. Make sure that you're monitoring the test administration. Visit each testing room if you have multiple ones to make sure that it's happening the way it should be. Ensure students have sufficient time to test. Ensure proper monitoring of breaks and extended lunches, anything along those lines. Be prepared for those emergency situations such as throwing up or fights or other crazy things. Any types of incidences that happen, please document those and let me know if there's any security breaches as well. Just a couple of administration reminders: no scratch paper, pass that along. Don't allow students to use extra paper to answer their ELA writing tasks. It won't be scored. All responses to math and ELA items, including written tasks, they need to be able to do it in number 2 pencil, on a single answer document. Don't use a pre-ID document from one administration to another. I think we know that. No correction fluid. Don't use paper clips. Don't put any self-stick notes to answer documents. Uh-oh, I've seen some people do that. It hasn't hurt us yet, I guess. Don't disassemble or pull pages out of the answer documents. Don't insert extra ones either. If the answer document is damaged, we need to replace it. Make sure that we're providing the accommodations or modifications to anyone who's eligible for that, and any type of English learner needs as well. So we've done the testing. Make sure we collect everything. After every testing session, verify that all materials recount again. Put the scoreable answer documents in a secure place between the sessions. Don't just leave them out. Make sure that we prepare the answer documents for return, looking for stray marks. Check that pre-ID answer document. Remember that the only thing that counts is what's pre-ID'd. We don't have to worry so much about what's going on in the document beyond the score code and some of those administration things on the back. Make sure that we fill out everything for those who are hand bubbled. Here's your score codes. You can take a look at those. Make sure you check that they are accurate. These may have changed as if this was last year's training document, but I don't believe so. Test examiner, we have to make sure that we grid box 26 for the accommodations and modifications, and only do those that were actually used. Don't stray from that. It has nothing to do with offered. It's what you actually did. Here are those accommodations and modifications for both the IEP and for the 504. Any type of transcription, make sure that we note that as well. Void any documents if the document has been damaged. It's a pre-ID document for a student who is no longer enrolled. A student has used more than one answer document and the answers have been transcribed from one to another. So once we're all done, we go and get the large plastic bag. We're going to put it in the test coordinator's packet. You're going to put those together, separate them out, and count the answer documents by grade. We're going to return things scoreable and non-scoreable. Only the scoreable things will go back with us there. We're going to have our SGID. Use an appropriate one for each one of the grades. Make sure you mark in the areas that need to be done. Put it on top of the appropriate grade, and then wrap them in bundles of 100 if you can. Place the blue shipping label on boxes with scoreable answer documents. We got these nice pretty colors. SGIDs are in different colors. They're cherry, Caribbean blue, that looks gray to me. Purple, and aquamarine. We don't do adults, but just in case. Our non-scoreables are going to be test site. There's a test site packing list, all of the unused SGIDs, the test booklets, any audio CDs, or all original copies of transcribed essays. Those are the things that we return, non-scoreables. These are all secure materials. Here's the colors. Blue goes with the blue. The blue ones actually go back to the scoreable, and then the other pink is for non-scoreable. Make sure you put your box totals for your site. You can see that there. I'll do the districts. And then return them all to me. Follow the specific information and send them back to me, and we'll go back and count them and return them. So just a couple of things really quickly that you can cover with your folks. They need to attend the training, and you can see that again. They need to review the actual documents that they have. There's the DFA and the directions for administration. They need to set up the testing room, cover and erase any information. Make sure that there's nothing in there that will give away information that they might need. You can use this for your test examiners as well. Plus, place the testing sign outside their door. You need to verify the student's information and give those either pre-ID'd answer documents to the correct students. Make sure we check that. Make sure the students use a number 2 pencil, and students should clear their desks. Not allowed to use any scratch paper or correction fluid, as we said earlier. They shouldn't have books or cell phones or anything like that on their desk. Give the test booklets out. Follow and read the directions exactly in the DFA. Check that students are responding in the appropriate sections. That's important, especially with newer students. Make sure that they actually sign the box name, put in their version number, and put their test booklet serial number. Because if not, we give them the wrong information. Here's some testing times, approximate, is usually what it takes. If you need more time, you have to go to another testing room. The test examiner should collect the test booklets. The proctor from another school staff should escort them. No student should be leaving the testing room with test booklets. It's not okay. If there's an incident, here's the test document. Here's the test administration incident report form. Count for all of the test booklets after the testing. Make sure that we separate them all out, and have to get all of the testing material back. Here's our score code and our accommodations and modifications. Make sure that we actually put those in, any type of the English language learner variations. And there's the score code box. Make sure that the proctors attend training with the test site coordinator, and that they actually read this as well, and they can assist in the process that we're doing. That's all we have for the training today. If you have questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.